Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
1, 2. Check me out right here, yo.
Thanks for joining me for another edition of the Bob Sullivan Show here on latenightsportsradio.com. Joined tonight by former referee of refpicks.com, Tim Donaghy. Tim, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Tim, it's interesting. Adam Silver has been talking about sports gambling and with the leagues about getting, sports gambling legalized. What are your thoughts right now on Silver welcoming the idea of sports gambling?
I think as any good commissioner of any professional sport, deal that they want to capitalize on every dollar that they can in any way that they can. So they realize now moving forward that gambling is a huge billion-dollar-a-year business, and somehow, some way, they want their slice of the pie, and they're going to figure out a way to do it once it gets legalized. And somebody like the NBA is always one step ahead of everybody else. So I think, they have a plan in place, and once it's legalized, they're going to be able to capitalize on it.
I was thinking about this, a few weeks ago. When they first had this idea, I thought that, how the FBI will bring in somebody that's been involved in that in a certain type of world to help catch, a criminal, like they get into the mind of a criminal by going to another one. Do you think the NBA will ever contact you to make sure that, a situation like yours doesn't happen again in the league if sports gambling is legalized and they're in the front of doing it?
No, I don't think they would go to me. I think there's a possibility, with the FBI agents that were involved in my case, because I still talk to them from time to time, that, we could go into, Major League Baseball or the NHL or the National Football League and put on a presentation of, what could take place if you're in a bad situation or if you're associating with the wrong people. But as far as the NBA is involved, I don't think that they would ever, want to, somehow be linked to me, because in that case, then the story keeps resurfacing. And I think that just continues to cause them embarrassment.
If they did contact you to see if you, would do anything, would you be open to that?
Absolutely. I mean, I would be open to anything in regard to, helping or getting back, so to speak, with the, greatest professional sports, league in the world. So it's something that I miss being associated with the NBA. So definitely I'd be open to listening to them.
Over the course of your years in the NBA, there's some of the worst, sports fans, some of the best and some of the worst are in the Northeast. Do you notice a change in their personalities from, the winter to the early spring? Are they extra grouchy in the winter in Philadelphia, Boston, New York versus come springtime, or is it about the same year round?
No, I think once you get closer towards playoff time and once you get in a situation where, every game matters, they get a little bit more vocal and a little bit more into it rather than early on in the season. So, people in the Northeast are very knowledgeable sports fans. So, they definitely do get into it more when playoff season comes closer.
Look, as a former ref, do you see, in games with, like, say, the Sixers or the Knicks or the Lakers where, there's a bit of tanking going on between those three teams? How much more difficult, would you approach a game with a team that's tanking? And how does the NBA approach it for refs?
Basically when a team is in the tank mode, you really are in a position where you don't have a lot of pressure on you because they don't want to win, and any close call you can give it to the other team, and really nobody's going to bitch or complain at you. So you definitely have a mindset going into that game knowing what this team's doing. So it's a situation where really the pressure's off you that night, and you can basically give any marginal call or any call that could go either way to the other team, and no one's really going to give you a hard time.
Is there more, like, in cities where a team is tanking, when you're getting heckled in that city, is it more sarcastic heckling, or are the super fans still, going at you hard night in, night out?
No, really, it's just a sarcastic situation because just like the general managers, that prominent season ticket holder, he wants that number one draft pick. He wants that player to come in and turn that franchise around. So really, in his heart of hearts, he's hoping that they lose also so that they can get a better position in the draft lottery.
Do you think that, how tough is it, to make, when you were coming up and getting into the NBA, the D League was not in full swing. How much do you think it's going to be beneficial to have a league with the same rules as the NBA, having refs develop down there as well as the players to come up, versus guys that you can ref college games and rec games, but they're not the same rules. It's not the same feel. Do you think it's better to have refs learn in the D League versus coming straight out of a college environment, or what's your take on that?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think coming out of the developmental league, is a benefit to the NBA because you're learning under their system. You're learning under their footprint. They have their people from the league office going and training and reviewing tape and monitoring everything that you do. Versus the college game is so different. It's a different set of rules. It's a different offensive sets that from the pro game, and when you're in the minor leagues, you get used to that. So it's a situation where it's a huge benefit for the NBA office, both players and official-wise, to have that developmental league the way they do. In the last week, Chris Paul made some comments that got kind of blown out of proportion. He was accused of being a misogynist, sexist, for saying if she's going to make calls like that, maybe this isn't for her, about a female referee. Did you think those comments were out of line? I felt like they were. I don't think he was being sexist. I think they were just comments in general that he would make about any ref. It was just a matter of her being a female that people got upset about. Do you agree with that? I do. I think it's just a matter of a player who's frustrated at this point. They're not having the season that they had hoped for, and going after a young referee, whether it's a male or female, he felt like he didn't get a fair shake, and he's just planting the seed in the official's mind and in young officials' mind in general that he's a superstar and he expects to get superstar treatment. And hopefully the next time she walks onto the floor, or any young referee walks onto the floor, he gets the benefit of the call rather than it going to somebody else.
On previous shows I've done with you, we've talked about how Allen Iverson, would get dogged by the referees night in, night out. Who's a guy in the league right now that you see getting dogged and not, there might be, an internal beef with that player?
No, I think when you, look at any young player in the league, they have to earn the respect from the officials, and the veteran players are going to get the benefit of the doubt from any referee. So it's not so much as like it was 10 years ago when a lot of the referees went after Rasheed Wallace or went after Allen Iverson. I think singling out those players is a thing of the past because of my situation and the ability for the individual teams and the players to contact the league office and complain about a certain referee and monitor that referee in the event that they feel that they're not getting a fair shake. So it's just, I think in general, the younger players aren't going to get the calls that the veterans are getting, but to have somebody singled out these days, I think that's pretty much a thing of the past.
Who's a young player that's really good, you think's really good at working the referees right now?
I think there's a lot of different players that are good. I see, Wiggins, try to be friendly with the referees and know that he's going to get more with honey than he is with salt. So, a lot of these veterans are teaching these young, players that have star potential that, you have to treat these referees with respect and talk to them and be in a position to try to, pursue calls before they happen, and that's by just holding conversations with them at free throws or dead balls or coming out of a timeout just to try to get the benefit of a call.
In your opinion, who is the biggest phony as far as a player goes towards referees to try to work them, and who was the most legitimately nice person to referees when you were in the league?
I think, LeBron James and Kobe Bryant tend to try to be friendly with the referees, but, the referees know that all they're doing is trying to get that next call. And a guy that, is somebody that the officials all just loved was Shane Battier. He just seemed genuine and constantly, having conversations with the officials and trying to learn and trying to figure out, what he needed do to get in a better position to get a call. So, somebody like him who just is professional at every turn is a guy that the referees learn to respect and like.
Other than Rashid and Iverson, who was somebody else that could have benefited from being a little nicer or, chumming up to the referees a little bit better?
I think, Jerry Stackhouse, Chauncey Billups, they're guys that just had that chip on their shoulder all the time that, never wanted to, try to hold a civil conversation with an official. They just always wanted to, go after you in a negative manner, rather than trying to understand, why you made a call or, why you may make a call in the future. And, some of those guys just never really got it.
How tough is it as a ref when these players come at you with, personal attacks saying like, you're not doing this, you're not doing that? How tough is it to, they're able to make kind of a display of a bad call, a perceived bad call that you've made. But if you make some kind of a, pointing back at them or, bump your chest out at them like a Joey Crawford, you're going to get singled out in the media. You might get a phone call from, the front office, something like that. How difficult is it to hold back from making a scene on the court with another player?
It's very difficult, but you have to understand that the referees are trained and programmed to defuse situations. So when a player does come at you in that manner, you try to diffuse it and calm them down right away and maybe tell him, hey, listen, maybe I did get that wrong, and if I did, I apologize. I'll take a look at it at halftime or after the game, and I'll let you know the next time I see you. But as far as you coming at me in the manner that you're coming at me, I can't have that. I'm not perfect. I'm not out here, and I'm not going to get every play right. So you have to understand that. But if you continue to come at me in this manner, then you're going to leave me no choice but to issue you a technical foul. So you try to reason with them and let them know that you're not going to be perfect and you are going to miss calls. And hopefully that kind of calms them down and diffuses the situation.
In training, how do they train you for that situation? Do they have you guys go ref certain games? Do they show you situations and then you tell the trainee how you would handle that situation? How does the training work for those type of situations?
Basically, you role play with other referees in training camps or before games, and you talk about situations and how you handled it, and maybe how you could have handled it different. Go to a veteran referee and ask them how they would have handled it, and just be a sponge and soak up as much advice as you can, and try to make the next situation better than how you handled the last situation.
When before games, it's always interesting to me, like on ABC or TNT, they'll have players mic'd up, and there's always, goofy conversations between a ref and a player. Do they ever tell you before the game? Before the game, they'll have you guys go into a room and have you guys watch tape and kind of influence how you should call the game.